Welcome. Welcome. We in the building.
Yes.
Welcome to the Everybody Has One podcast. I'm your host, Jason Flake. My co-host, Lance Reynolds.
What up, dog?
And, of course, Everybody Has One is a pun on, of course, the fact that everyone now has a podcast, seemingly. And, of course, the old trope that opinions are like, assholes. Everybody has one. Of course, hopefully, we give you our informed opinion, and it is both informed as well as entertaining.
Play there.
So we're here to discuss the sports topics that everyone is discussing, and hopefully we are making you a smarter sports fan, one take at a time. So without further ado, let's jump right into what we want to talk about today.
What's on your mind, man?
The biggest sports topic in the city of Detroit right now is our lovable Lions.
Gotta be the Lions.
After decades and decades of futility, we, for the first time in my life that I can remember, probably for the first time ever, are the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's almost unbelievable. I can't even really believe that I'm saying that.
Yeah, that's rare.
But we are. We have won 8 games in a row. We just put up a 50 ball on Jacksonville, basically beat them into submission. They basically quit on the field. I was there. Yeah, that was unbelievable. And we have beaten teams like that a number of times this year. Jared Goff is playing at an MVP level.
Yeah.
Another fun fact that I heard is thus far through 10 games, we have scored 336 points.
Damn.
To put that in context, in our lifetime, since 1980, the Lions have failed to score 336 points in a season 25 times.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah, which is insane. Jared Goff has posted a perfect quarterback rating twice in 10 games. He has, I believe he has more touchdowns than the team. I think he has two or three times more touchdowns than we have turnovers altogether.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, I could go on and on statistically, but I'll turn the mic over to you, Lance, and I'll let you go ahead and give your take, because I know that Lions fans are excited as well as awestruck in many instances, like myself.
Yeah, man. It's still, for me, still a little hard to believe.
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, this is definitely rare air for Lions fans. Like you said, 8 wins in a row. I think for me, we gotta give a shout out to Sheila Ford Hamp.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
I think props to her is definitely due. I remember her being booed at Ford Field.
Yes, indeed.
And she took it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She didn't.
I was there.
You know what I mean? She didn't ignore it. She took it.
Yeah.
And she said she was going to improve the team and she wanted to win. And she got the right players in place in the front office and on the field.
Yeah.
To make it happen. And that's going all the way down to either to Chris Spielman in the back. Pulling some strings, Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely been huge in terms of just changing the culture.
Absolutely.
That's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot with franchises and across different sports. But I think we are actually seeing a change in culture.
It's certainly apropos. Yeah, it matters.
We've heard it back when Bobby Ross came. It was supposed to be a change in the culture. He took the Chargers, San Diego at the time, Chargers to the Super Bowl. So, it was supposed to be a new era with Bobby Ross. Then it was, who was it? Morningweg and Millen. You know, that
Lord.
was, you know what I mean?
You're bringing me down.
And then Mariucci. And,
Right.
Marinelli. And, you know, I mean, we can go on and on and on, you know, but this time.
Pad level.
You know, pad level. But you know, this time you actually see it, you feel it. Even when new guys come to the team,
right?
You know, they're adopting the personality of the locker room.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that's really dope. Just a few things for me, because again, I've been a Lions fan for half my life, so it's still some skepticism, a little.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you think before the playoffs we need one more loss?
Well, I don't know.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever need a loss.
Yeah.
But if you catch my meaning, or a test.
I don't know that we need another loss. I think that the odds are against us not getting one. We'll probably taste another defeat prior to the playoffs, and it won't be the end of the world. Now, here's what I will say. Currently, we have the number one offense and a top 5 defense.
Right.
That's typically a recipe for a Super Bowl.
Right.
Certainly a Super Bowl run.
Right.
I also think that, again, I don't mean to keep bragging, but I was at the Houston game. That was
Mr. Everywhere, you ain't never there.
that was also tantamount to a loss because, number one, Jared Goff played poorly, threw 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
I was ready to go at halftime.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can go to the hotel and pack my bag and watch this on TV. I don't need to be here live with the Houston fans while they taunting me in my Lions jersey.
Right.
But
was that visions of Ty Detmer?
man, listen, I don't know what was wrong with him. I'm like, man, look, close the retractable roof because, of course, we know that there's a whole thing that swirls around Jared Goff with the whole playing outdoors thing.
Right,
He's
right.
a different quarterback when he plays outdoors. Now,
That's over with, bro.
yeah.
Jared Goff played in the rain with 2 gloves on. I'm not trying to hear that shit no more. That's over.
Right. I mean, listen,
That's over.
I don't know. Yeah, like the old Jared Goff showed up in Houston. But I also will say to follow up on what you said, because I thought you made a tremendous point when you talked about the changing of the guard, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell. There was not a less excited Lions fan than me.
I remember.
When they acquired Jared Goff and hired Dan Campbell.
I remember.
I was not excited, but both of them have won me over. Jared Goff is playing at an MVP level despite the 5 interception game. He's playing great. He's seeing everything well.
Yeah.
He's seeing the front end in terms of them mixing up the fronts, trying to confuse him with blitzes and blitz packages when they're dropping in coverage. He's seeing that very well as the back end. He's seeing when they drop in the man, when they playing different zones, when they disguising. He's seeing it great right now.
He's looking like a machine.
Yeah, he's playing MVP level ball. And I do want to get to what Nick Wright said. I don't know if you heard what Nick Wright said.
I did. He called him a civilian?
A civilian. He said that in order to win a Super Bowl, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, I don't have the exact quote, but I'm paraphrasing. He said that in order to win a Super Bowl, you need a superhero at quarterback. And Jared Goff is a civilian. And right now, and my answer to that is right now he's playing like a superhero. While Nick Wright happens to be a Kansas City fan.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is playing like a civilian.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't bet against Mahomes.
Right.
Let me say that. I'm not knocking Mahomes. I'm not trash talking Mahomes. I'm not calling out Mahomes.
But if we're talking performance.
Yeah,
right now,
we just talking performance right now. Who's the civilian? Because we can pull the numbers up and we can look at who's playing like a civilian and who's playing like a superhero, because it's not close right now.
Agreed.
One of them looks like a superhero. One of them looks like a civilian. So while I tend to agree, I do think that you have to have really excellent quarterback play in order to win a Super Bowl. But my answer to Nick Wright is that we're getting excellent quarterback play.
Yeah.
Your 9-0 start looks like when Pittsburgh started 12-0 a few years ago. It looks like fool's gold, buddy. Y'all don't look like no 9-0 team or even a 9-1 team.
Yeah.
You look you look like the civilians. You got a great defense for sure. Kansas City's defense
is solid.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, they got the best defense in football, which is why they are where they are. I think that they have, and this is a hot take, and I don't want to get to talking Kansas City Chiefs football, but I think they have the best defensive lineman, the best linebacker, and the best defensive back in football. So they have the best player at each level. I think that Chris Jones, Bolton, and Trent McDuffie are the best defensive lineman, linebacker, and defensive back in football. And again, I don't want to go down the Kansas City rabbit hole because I know we talking Lions.
Right.
But I think that
it just shows you the sickness and cancer that is Nick Wright.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody just contaminated this show.
I mean, listen, man. Somebody said, and I'm not gonna say who, but somebody said that he was Stephen A. Smith, the white Stephen A. Smith with a mullet. And if you look at the features and do a side by side, it is eerie. It really is eerie. He does kind of look like Stephen A. Smith, like a white Stephen A. Smith with a mullet. But we'll move on. We don't. So yes. So transitioning from the Lions, because I think we're rolling. And remind me, do we have a bye? We don't play Sunday, right? Do we play Sunday? I don't think we play Sunday. Because we play the next two Thursdays.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is odd. So I think I think
because we've got 2 games in 8 days.
Yeah,
something crazy.
Yeah, so I think we play the next. So I think they gave us this Thursday off. No, I'm sorry. We play at Indianapolis. I'm going to the game.
Sunday. Cold Sunday.
Cold Sunday.
Thursday.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just had a brain fart. I'm going to the game.
So that'll be 3 games.
Yeah. And that's weird, right?
That's tough. See, that makes me nervous.
They sabotage. It's Detroit versus everybody. See, this is sabotage. Where's my tinfoil kufi? Where is my tinfoil kufi?
That makes me nervous because stuff like that, that's when bodies start hitting the floor.
Exactly. This is what I'm just about to say. I'm like, now, when have you ever seen somebody play on Thanksgiving and then play the following Thursday? I'm like, that seems out of the ordinary. You usually get the long, like the mini bye week, they call it.
That's like 3 games in 11 days?
Yeah. I'm like, and I'm thinking they got off. See, this is why I'm in a brain fog. I needed that water. No, but anyway, so.
No, I get it. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we lost Anzalone last week.
Yep, he broke his wrist.
Now you got teams game planning now for their leading tacklers out.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jack Campbell,
he gonna have to step up.
PFF,
we did get
one at your position. You got to show and prove it now.
Yeah, we did get Rodrigo back.
Yeah.
Which was good. So, but yeah, you're right. And they saying it's looking like Derek Barnes is gonna be out for the year with that because he got a MCL, PCL tear. So yeah, right. And I was hoping because I was like, well, maybe we'll get Derek Barnes back at some point.
That's rough.
But yeah, so our linebacking core is getting a little depleted, but it's just gonna give some guys an opportunity to step up and step in. So transitioning to our other favorite Detroit team.
Oh yeah, you see it. You see it.
Our Pistons, man.
The fight for 500 continues, but we almost there.
2-0 in the Emirates Cup.
You know it.
Whatever that is. Nothing like taking meaningless regular season basketball and putting it in tournament form.
There you go.
Now let's talk about. Can we talk about the this NBA Cup / in season tournament let's talk about that for a minute. Let's take a rabbit trail
Oh man,
away from our Pistons just for 1 second, because
the Adam Silver invitation,
bro, because listen,
because this is all him.
Yeah.
You know, this is all him thinking that he could, be an extension of David Stern.
Yeah.
And really thinking that the NBA is really a bigger product than it actually is. I mean, don't get me wrong, globally, but the problem at home is like no one gives a shit about this tournament.
right. Listen, well, first of all,
like no one cares.
can we talk about tournaments though? Let's talk about a tournament. Let's talk about what a tournament is. A tournament starts at one time and it's contiguous, and then it stops at a certain other time. What is this? Tonight is an in-season tournament night. Tomorrow we having regular games again, and then the night after that it's more in-season. I'm confused. First of all,
Right.
don't nobody know what group nobody in.
Right.
I ain't seen a bracket nowhere.
Right.
I'm all confused.
Right.
I'm like, the NCAA tournament. Now, if they told you the NCAA tournament gonna start on March 1st, but then they gonna play some regular Big Ten games on March 7th, then we gonna go back to you'd be like, man, what is going on?
Like the Big Ten tournament is Friday.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 is
Right.
Monday. And then we'll be resuming the NCAA
Right,
tournament.
you'd be like, wait a
on
minute.
Tuesday.
I thought we was just a tournament start. Like, is it that difficult to just have the in-season tournament start on one day? All the games that are played are in-season tournament games
Well,
until a certain date, and then the in-season tournament is over, and then we resume the regular season.
see, but again, it's Silver trying to cultivate viewership
Right.
in an inorganic way.
Yeah.
The problem is the product's bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I said, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
We'll
right.
get,
I don't want to
we'll
spoil
get to
all
that.
the topics,
Because
right?
it's
all related,
it's all
yeah.
related.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but back to the Silver Cup. Again, it's just a lame attempt to draw viewership. It's a clout tournament.
Yeah.
Players know, the lower management guys know to suit up on Tuesdays and Fridays. They'll only have to do it the first 2 months of the season.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you get popped twice in the first week, then you don't have to give a shit anymore about the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's lame. The first couple of games last year, I'll admit, those were cool.
Yeah.
Because I think, all of those games maybe went to overtime. Some of them went to double overtime.
Yeah.
But then by the time you got to the end of the tournament, it was back to blowouts.
Yeah.
And more of your usual, NBA non-competitive basketball.
Right. And I think guys certainly will want to win another $500,000. I mean, even if you make $40-50 million a year, right?
Yeah, another $500,000 to blow in Vegas.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they would want to win that. So I'm sure that they play a little harder. They probably play a little bit longer, right? Coaches are more reluctant to raise the white flag at the end of the game. But I don't know. It's hard for me to get interested in it.
Yeah, it's no incentive to.
Even though, and I'm a basketball fan, so I'm the one of the people that I will watch regular season games anyway. Like I get league pass every year. I'm a NBA junkie, but
Right.
I struggle to get excited about the in-season tournament. That being said, I'm about to contradict myself. My Pistons 2-0, baby. Let's go.
At the end of the day,
Let's win this Emirates Cup, baby.
step out on that ugly ass court on Tuesday and Fridays thus far.
Let's go.
We're 2-0, and I'm okay with that. And which is what I'm excited about, Asar Thompson's resuming full basketball activities.
Yes, I am interested to see how Asar is going to acclimate himself into this team with the new additions of Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley.
Right.
Man, I'm drawing a blank on the other guy. I like him though.
Hardaway?
No, not Hardaway. he been getting a lot of playing time too. These last couple of games, Wendell, what's his name? Oh man, I'll pull it up. I don't want to belabor it, but I like the addition of some of the guys, the new guys, particularly Hardaway and Beasley. Though I think Beasley keeps the floor spread.
Beasley
keeps the drive. Yeah, he been balling. Keeps the driving lanes open for our backcourt guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Ivy and Cade.
Yeah, Beasley. I mean, he's giving you 15 points a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's shooting right at 39% from three.
Yeah, which
so
is
I mean, that's
well above league average.
I mean, that's what you bought him
34,
for.
35%. Yeah.
You know, the thing, and because here's the thing, the Pistons as a team, they're only shooting like 34.8% from three.
Yeah, that's about league average.
So
league average 34,
it's better than what we
35%.
were last year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like last year, we shot the most and missed the most.
Yeah, right.
So like that will never work.
That stands to reason. Yeah.
But the thing about Thompson, the reason why I'm super interested to see how he fits, is the Bickerstaff.
Mm-hmm.
His experience coaching defensive oriented, lengthy guys.
Yeah.
Like your Jared Allens, your Evan Mobleys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what he can do with Asar.
Yeah.
Especially help side defensively, where we need help. We still need help at the rim.
Yeah. So let me. I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk about JB Bickerstaff. First, I want to start on a positive note. I want to tell you what I do like about him because I like the way that he handles the backcourt guys.
Yeah.
I think that the backcourt guys look better. They're all playing better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ivy, Cade, even with, like I said, with the additions of Beasley, the addition of Hardaway, but I even like the way Sasser looks.
They're playing hard.
In the minute, minutes
hard.
defensively is night and day. I mean,
Cade, not to cut you off,
go ahead.
But it's just one glaring thing when we're talking about like effort.
Yeah.
Dude, from last year to this year, Cade went from 4.3 rebounds to over 7 rebounds.
Oh yeah, his rebounding is insane.
That players don't make that kind of a jump.
Yeah.
He's
a stud, man. He's getting. I think he's third in the league in triple doubles right now.
Yeah, but he got 4.
Yeah, he's a stud right now.
Well, my fault. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no. I like that. I like that because that only bolsters the point that I'm making. That with the wing guys, I really like what he's doing. However, here's the thing that concerns me about JB Bickerstaff, and I found his firing curious from Cleveland, like many of us did.
Right, yeah.
But here's the thing that I find concerning. I believe that Jalen Duren has regressed.
Oh, brother. I got it right here in
Yeah,
my notes. Go ahead.
I believe that he has regressed.
Yeah.
And here's my problem. So I got it. This is a twofold issue. The fact that I believe that, number one, he's regressed. He's getting in more early foul trouble, so they're not working with him on his defense. His defense has to be better. He has to play with his hands back a lot more. He had some of those problems last year, too. I'm not going to put this all on Bickerstaff, but I thought it would improve more. Also, I thought that they would run more offense through him up at the nail, up in that high post position. Yeah. I need to see him become a better passer and develop one or two moves from that high post position and be better. Another thing that concerns me is that Jalen Duren is playing just under 25 minutes a game. Isaiah Stewart is playing just over 22 minutes a game. They ain't the same.
Nope.
They don't need to be splitting minutes.
Nope.
Nikola Jokic ain't splitting minutes with DeAndre Jordan.
No.
Joel Embiid ain't splitting minutes with Andre Drummond, and I know those are the two best centers in basketball.
Split Jokic minutes with Yusuf Nurkic in year 3.
They threw him on out. They said he can be gone.
Deuces, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And my concern is also coupled with the fact that Evan Mobley has taken a giant step forward in his absence.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley is taking and making more 2 and 3 point field goals, averaging more points and rebounds as in only slightly more minutes.
Yeah.
So he's unleashed.
Yeah.
And they're 16-1.
Yeah.
So though I found his firing curious, I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. Like,
especially when you got so much invested in a young player like Mobley.
correct.
I got you.
Him and Dean Wade playing the same number of minutes is a problem. Dean Wade and Evan Mobley ain't the same. Dean Wade gonna play for 4 teams in his career. Evan Mobley's a franchise player.
Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart, and this is not a bash Isaiah Stewart hour because I like Beef Stew, but Isaiah Stewart's importance to the future of the franchise and Jalen Duren's is not the same. In my opinion, Jalen Duren's development
crucial.
is the most important of anybody because one of these things is not like the other. Everybody else on the team is a wing, a guard, or a stretch guy.
Yeah.
He's really the only big we have.
Yeah.
Frankly.
I agree.
So his development is most important because if you don't develop him, you'll have to find somebody else like him, as opposed to we probably got somebody else like everybody else on the team, with the exception of maybe Cade. Cade is a special franchise kind of player.
Yeah.
You know, but he's developing, so you don't have to worry as much about him. But I'll concede the floor to you. I'll let you pick it up.
I had Duren highlighted when we were prepping, when I knew we were going to talk about the Pistons because, as you say, the numbers are down across the board.
Yep.
From last year, outside of the field goal percentage, which is like at 75%, but which again drives to your point to run more stuff to him,
Right.
through him. I mean, everything. His free throws are down. Like, he's shooting 51% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Only 9 points a game. Last year, he was at about 11 and a half. I mean, he's giving you like 1 point, just over a block a game. But to put that in context, he's tied with Tobias Harris to lead our team in blocks at like 1.1 a game. So it's like, And, you know, again, we are unapologetic basketball junkies and critics. I, like you know, whenever I can watch the game, I'm going to do it. And over the summer, you know, I was watching a lot of those, you know, workouts with Team USA and, you know, the select players. Jalen Duren was a part of that group. Cade was a part of that group. And I'm not seeing this Jalen Duren.
No.
You know, not consistently. Like, even when the games when he's healthy, if he can get a stretch of games together, it's always like one night 13, 12, 2, and then the next night it's 6, 9, and 5 fouls.
Yeah.
And then the next game, because he was frustrated because of the last game, he may come out and have like 10 boards in the first quarter.
Right.
And finish the game with 13 rebounds.
Yep.
You know, and he's too talented. I think the kid just turned 20?
He's 21, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
he's very young. Yeah.
I mean, he's too talented of a player. He doesn't seem to me to have like any motor issues.
No.
You know what I mean? I think every player in the NBA right now could be a little tougher.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
I don't think he has like a motor issue or like a want to issue, if that's a thing. But yeah, the numbers, like you say, are down, and you know, I'm gonna, you know, lay low and watch a little bit more.
Yeah, right. I'm not. Yeah, it's very early. Yeah, it's less than 20 games. Yes. I was gonna say the same thing. I'm watching that very closely.
The season being young, it can go 2 ways. You know what I mean? You can like fluff your numbers up. You know what I mean?
Right.
It can kind of carry you through when you kind of hit a wall.
Yes.
You know, or you can start out, you know, sputtering, and then some guys after All-Star break, you know, they kind of pick up steam. So yeah, it's something to definitely keep the eye on. And Outside of that, I mean, Tobias Harris is going to be Tobias Harris.
Yeah, right. He
13 points.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sucking at three, though. He's like 28% from the three.
I mean, he's a streaky 3-point shooter. He's always been
I
that.
wish he'd shoot more twos.
Yeah.
Like, remember when Tobias Harris was an all-star in Orlando?
Yeah.
He shot a lot of twos.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's a mid-range shooter. But
he's long.
18,
he can attack the basket. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
So, if that's your game.
But that's just the NBA now, man. Like, the NBA is about the spreading the floor and shooting a lot of threes, even if you're not good. This is the thing now, with the inflated scoring. Yeah. It used to be you had to be a good 3-point shooter to be a volume 3-point shooter. That is no longer the case. You can be a volume 3-point shooter and not a good 3-point shooter. But again, not to take off on all of the basketball topics, because we have a lot of time to discuss basketball, but right. That's one of the things that turns people off about the modern game. Yeah. Is that they feel like they're watching a 3-point shooting contest a lot of the time. Right. Even from guys who are not that good at shooting threes, and I brought up Isaiah Stewart before. He actually shot 39% from three last year, which is very surprising. Yeah, it is excellent. That good. He was judicious in shooting threes. He didn't take a lot, but 39% is actually pretty good. Yeah. And I don't even think he's attempting one a game now, because I believe that the current coaching staff has told him, that you need to kind of take it inside more. Yeah, but yeah, I mean. There are a lot of bad 3-point shooters that shoot a lot of 3-pointers.
Well, it's called the NBA.
Yeah, I know. That gets boring though. Like there's a lot of lulls in basketball games now. Yeah.
And you know what? The hell with it, man. Let's put a pin and park it right here with the NBA, man. Yeah. Viewership's down.
It is.
Historically.
Yep.
There's a lot of reasons.
Sure, yeah. I mean, a lot of people pirating it and streaming it. Like people are going to, that's the first thing that avid NBA fans will scream. And that is true with the internet. There are more ways to, let's say get the games without actually being counted among the ratings viewership. So, we acknowledge that, right. And then people have shorter attention spans. So, my sons, I have two sons, 23 and 20. I don't know that they sit down and watch an entire game like that, like until it gets to like playoff time, maybe later in the year, they will, like we were kind of taught to consume the entire game. Like I love to sit down and watch an entire game.
The game tells the story. Correct.
Yeah. Like I like to see how players play. I like to see how coaches coach and whether or not the coach can coach. Yep. Like that's the only way you're going to know that is if you watch the entire game. You're not going to know that if you watching highlights. But, we're probably, we OGs to the young fellas, we unk now. Yep. So, but I don't know that these young guys, they watch a lot of clips, a lot of highlights, they consume the game differently. So, but yes.
It's different because see, like you say, the kids now, they watch the clips and that's it. Right. When we were young, we would watch the games and then couldn't wait to see the highlights too.
Correct. Yes.
Like, oh, bro, wait, the sports gonna come on. Yeah. You see this shit my man just did. Watch this.
Right.
Now it's different. It's like it's in reverse. They put the punchline before the joke.
Correct. Yep. That's a good way of putting it. Okay. Let's see. Man, I want to bring up one of your favorite topics, man. You had me going with this one a couple of weeks ago, and we'll just touch on it briefly, man, because I know we got a few other things that we want to cover. But let's talk about Bronny James briefly, man. Let's talk about the most discussed 55th pick in the second round of all times.
Okay. If you insist.
Young LeBron James Jr. Now, again, I'm going to say, for all all of the dim-witted, slow, no child left behind generation individuals out there. Nobody is hating on Bronny James. Everybody wants to see him do as well as he possibly can. My initial take was that he probably needed another year of college to develop. I don't think he was developed enough to be in the NBA. The bottom line is the NBA is not a developmental league. That's why they actually drafted a league. It was originally called the D League, and the D stood for developmental.
They bought the CBA.
Yes, they bought the Canadian Basketball League.
They made that the D League.
Made that a developmental league. You don't go to the NBA to develop. We can develop in the league. You don't develop in the league. That's the entire point. You develop in college. You develop with G League Ignite, which they've disbanded now. You develop in the developmental league. They call it the G League now. You don't go to the NBA to develop, because the NBA is not for development. The NBA, you can improve in the NBA, but the skills have to already be developed before you get there. That's why there is a draft process. That's why there's an evaluation process. So I thought that he should stay in college a year, but I'm not anybody to the James family, so nobody cared what I thought. So he was drafted by the Lakers with the 55th pick. He is now, fast forward, he was not ready to stay with the squad, so now he is in the G League. The problem that I have now is that he's not traveling with the team. I'm not understanding why you're not getting all the reps that you possibly can if your desire is to stay in the NBA and to truly develop. To truly develop, you need reps. You need to be playing as much as you possibly can, figuring out what you're actually good at in the NBA.
You would think.
But you're not doing that. And that is a problem, is from my vantage point, if his desire is to actually stay in the NBA. Now, from a realistic standpoint, whether he stays in the NBA or not, LeBron James Jr. is going to be fine. His father is a billionaire. He is a multimillionaire now because he signed a contract worth over $7 million.
He was rich before that?
Yeah, I was going to say, he got an NIL deal that was worth multi-millions of dollars. So
a gamer?
Yeah, correct. So the likelihood that, he's going to be fine financially is extremely high. And I'm sure he's not concerned about money. This is simply a basketball conversation. I'm just talking about his basketball aspirations. If he has aspirations to play professional basketball, he needs to get reps, and he needs to get them quickly, because that contract is going to run out. And if he has not shown himself to be an NBA player, he is going to either have to take his talent overseas or to South America or elsewhere, which is fine. I mean, he can do that, it's his prerogative because he's going to have money. Or he is going to be out of professional basketball and figuring out what else he would like to do with his life. And with that, I will yield to my co-host.
Well, my thoughts on Bronny James: 5 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 21% field goal percentage, 0% from three. -1 player efficiency rating in the G League. Next topic. I'm not going back and forth and doing this Bronny James thing, man. Like this whole it's a win for black fatherhood and all this bullshit. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. No. Nepotism, all of it, stop. If LeBron James owned the Lakers and he wanted to draft his kid to be an executive in the front office, great. But basketball is performance-based, where it's an actual physical performance, what you have to do, and your performance tangibly affects your other coworkers.
Yes.
Stop with this, man. Stop. He wasn't even the best player on his high school basketball team.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the best player on that team isn't even in the NBA anymore. He just got cut by the Charlotte Hornets over the summer. I mean, let's stop with this, man. Like, I'm glad that the kid's healthy. Yeah. That's the big thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, let's celebrate
after the cardiac event. Yes.
The kid. I mean, if we're gonna go crazy with the DeMar Hamlin stuff, young athlete. I think that's a study that really needs to.
I concur.
That needs to have a deeper dive and a deeper look into is these young athletes and these cardiovascular issues.
Yeah, no doubt.
More frequently, like let's celebrate that. Like remember the kid from Baylor? What was his name? Isaiah.
Yeah, was he a receiver?
No, he was a ball player.
Oh, basketball. Okay.
And
okay.
He was like the 7-foot kid that shot the threes, and he had a heart issue.
Yeah.
And Adam Silver bought him out for the draft.
Yes.
And shook his hand.
Yes.
And I think he's doing like NBA cares.
Yes. Yes.
But they found out he had a heart condition during
the combine. Was it the combine? Yes. Yes, I do remember that.
Couldn't let him play.
Yeah.
An All-American.
Mm-hmm.
A projected lottery pick.
Yeah.
Couldn't let him play. But we forcing this kid to play. We forcing him to play. He's not ready.
Yeah, he wasn't ready. That's what I thought.
He's not ready.
Yeah.
And then his daddy's talking about, I'm leaving social media. It's been real.
Yeah.
We know why.
Right.
It's 2 reasons why. One is his kid, and the other one is sitting, in jail in New York right now. I didn't say anything.
That's a whole nother conversation.
He did.
Yeah.
So now he off social media. Convenient. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm not. This is like the most time that I will dedicate to a cat shooting 21% from the field in the G League. I'm not doing it. Like you gotta be kidding. He's a 3-and-D guy that's shooting 0% from the three.
Yeah, he's a D guy.
Yeah. Stop.
No Diddy.
Stop. Stop.
He's a D guy. Okay, so let's transition. This is an interesting topic since we staying on the NBA. The NBA injuries.
Oh Lord, yeah.
I have a lot of theories about the NBA injuries. Because I believe, and I haven't looked at the science behind this, but the fact that there is very little science behind this leads me to believe that I am correct. I believe that injuries have heightened since load management. Because let me tell you something. If load management worked, they'd be in your face with the analytics. Right. They'd be all upside your head telling you, man, we told you load management would work. Right. We told you there'd be fewer injuries. Right. We told you that, man, please, every star done been out. Right. LeBron ain't played a full season since load management. LeBron averaging 55 games a year. Anthony Davis is made out of parchment paper. Joel Embiid ain't been healthy since. James Harden done fell and broke his butt. And Kawhi Leonard is halfway out the league since load management.
Yep.
I'm telling you, if load management worked, they'd be slapping us upside the head with all the studies showing us, see, we told y'all that it worked.
Williamson injured himself again.
This is what I'm saying. Zion ain't played a season in 4 seasons. Okay. And I'm talking about a season's worth of games. And they keep telling us, and they told us that load management was so that players would be healthy and available in the playoffs. And look at last year's playoffs as an example.
Yeah.
All the stars got hurt.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson broke his hand in the series against Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton, another all-star and Olympian, he got hurt his hamstring in the series just before in the series against Boston.
Joel Embiid.
Donovan Mitchell hurt himself against the Boston Celtics. He couldn't finish that series. Yeah. Jimmy Butler hurt his. Yep, Giannis got hurt. Jimmy Butler, all the stars. Yep. All the stars were hurt. Like I kept saying, I'm like, man, I ain't seen a star in the playoffs.
And you think now, and they always bragging about the advances in medicine and technology. Everybody's a damn trainer.
Yeah.
Everybody's a trainer.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like the stretchers have trainers for stretching. Like, yeah, I go see my guy and he teaches me. Everybody's cold plunging.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They doing acupuncture.
Marshmallow Man suits and shit.
Yeah. You see the circles on everybody that they doing the acupuncture, the suction cups. You see all of that on everybody.
Dropping like flies, but lo and behold, 30, 40 years ago, these cats running around in Chuck Taylors, Adidas forms,
no ankle support,
Converse weapons,
right?
One pair of socks and ankle tape, and playing 82 games.
Yeah, they got pictures of dudes from the 70s that are in traction. They actually have the whole neck brace on out there on the court.
This was might have been 10 years ago. So I was 10 years younger.
Yeah.
And I wore a pair of Chuck Taylors to Arts BTs.
You ain't walk right for a week, bro.
Ever again. So you mean to tell me, and now I'm 5'10", 188 pounds.
Right.
You mean to tell me bunch of 6'7", 6'8",
7 foot,
9, 7 foot, 230, 240, running around in house shoes with laces.
Right. Yeah.
Riding buses, flying commercial planes with no AC probably. And you niggas is running around here with creatine, protein, any kind of team.
Right.
Trainers.
On private jet, stretched out.
Come on, man. And y'all can play 55 games in a season.
Yeah. Stop it, man.
Stop it.
I'm telling you. And also, you forgot to mention that they are now manipulating the schedule purposely to eliminate back-to-backs, to eliminate 3 games in 5 nights, to eliminate 5 games in 7 days. They doing all that purposely.
They got a week off for All-Star break.
Yeah, but my contention is that it's the law of diminishing returns. All of that then resets the body so that when you get to the playoffs, and now they want you to play every other night.
The body gives out.
And the body gives out. That's why in the playoffs, every star went down. Yeah. In the playoffs.
We're not doctors here. We're not scientists.
Yeah, listen, I'm not. I'm not a sports scientist.
Try this, though. Get your fat ass up off the couch and go to the gym and try to work out like someone who's been working out at that gym every day or every other day for 2 years.
That's right.
I promise you.
Your body gonna betray you. Yeah.
You're gonna hurt something. Yeah. I promise you.
You might not even feel it, but you're gonna feel it tomorrow morning when you try to throw your leg off that bed and your leg throw it back.
It's no different.
Yeah.
It's no different if you factor in an NBA schedule.
Yes. You know, I agree. I'm like, yeah, they so used to being relaxed with the schedule and then getting load managed.
This fool LeBron was sitting with a bottle of wine under his chin on the bench and a hot plate. I'm like, what are we doing? This nigga got a hot plate on the bench with aluminum foil and a bottle of wine.
He got hors d'oeuvres and cocktails.
Anything. Like nothing. It's just like, man, this is how we do here. But I'm telling you, man, and listen, if the NBA is going to do this, I'm okay with it. But if you're going to do it, hey, man, next collective bargaining agreement, rework that CBA.
Yeah.
And this may be the first, insanely hot take of the show. But you got to bring back the PEDs.
Yeah.
Like, stop testing for it.
Let them use everything.
And let's get back to the 1997-98 Miami Heat with Ike Alston, Tim Hardaway, and Alonzo Mourning, and all these niggas can't put their arms down because they juiced up. And, you know, when all of a sudden Dwight Howard's shoulders balloon up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, LeBron loses weight when he goes back to Cleveland, but he goes to Miami during the national championship. And then he comes back buff again. And, you know, Giannis
allegedly
gaining 40 pounds in 3 years. You know how hard it is to gain 40 pounds of muscle throughout your lifetime?
Yeah.
And these fools was doing it in 3 years?
Yeah.
Have you seen Stephen Curry at Davidson?
Yeah.
Have you seen the shoulders on Steph Curry now?
Yeah, no, man, yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, stop. Who you fooling?
Right. And then,
Like, I don't mind it.
yeah, me either.
If the new collective bargaining agreement says, all right, we're going to go back to PEDs, do it so that you have a working line of communication with each team's doctor.
Yep.
You disclose which injury that the PEDs are treating. You let the league know what the dosage amount is, because you only got to do it for a cycle.
Right.
You don't have to do it. You do it like like sophisticated Walter White hustling.
Right.
You wane them off of it. You know, when the injury's healing itself, and then boom, if that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. No,
Because
listen.
the tickets aren't getting any cheaper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, and they got this new deal with ESPN
And Amazon Prime.
Yep. It's a couple of hundred billion, $74 billion.
Listen.
Insane like that.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, the price for the consumer is definitely going to go.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I buy league pass. I go to games. Yeah,
I want to get what I'm paid for.
Yeah.
I want to see the stars.
I agree. Yeah, I don't want to go down there and you load managing Cade. I don't want that. Yeah, I want to see my guys.
Keep them on the flow.
Yep.
Shoot them up.
Yep. All right, man. Let's do a couple of rapid fire topics, man, because we're getting down to the end. Let's talk Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Let me ask you, man. You got your tinfoil kufi on. Was it a conspiracy? Did Mike pull punches? Could he have knocked Jake Paul out at any time? What say you, man? Because I got my own ideas, but
Lord,
yeah, you tell me, man.
I have so many thoughts, Michael. Mike.
The butt cheeks.
See,
he gave us the baby boy scene in the kitchen.
Mike Tyson fight
Yeah.
that I was emotionally invested in
Yeah.
was when he fought Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, me too.
And that was like, 2002?
Oh, yeah. That was over 20 years ago.
And I think, did we watch that fight?
At J Crib.
We was at Jay Black.
Yeah, we was at Jay
Shout
Black
out
house.
Jay Black.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Black.
And I remember before the fight, they was interviewing Mike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about, I just want to just go back and feed my pigeons and play with. And I said, this nigga talking about flipping pigeons before the comeback fight of his. And I knew then.
He was medicated. Oh, yeah.
I said, this ain't going to go the way we all gathered here thinking it's going to go.
Yeah.
With that knowledge, we fast forward 22 years later.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson is doing another pre-fight interview. And for this fight, I'm not as giddy as I was for that fight, but I was like,
I'm interested.
Mike
Yeah.
Tyson fight. I was like, dog, he may get lucky and knock this motherfucker's head off.
Yeah.
Like that may happen. But then the pre-fight Mike Tyson interview happened.
And you saw Melvin from Baby Boy in the kitchen cooking breakfast up with the butt cheeks.
It was a combination of things in just one moment that just let me know that we was in for some more bullshit. Like he ended the interview and he was like, "Thank you, I love you," and he kissed my man on his cheek.
On the cheek, yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe he know the brother, man. Maybe they go back.
Then you seen the ass cheeks.
I mean, I ain't kissed my blood brother on the cheek ever. But, I'll kill for that nigga. And he know that, but it's different. But then, after the kiss, Mike does an about face. And Mike decided to leave his shorts on. And I said, this Negro know everybody in the world watching.
Oh my
He
God.
gave us his whole ass to kiss. So while Netflix was buffering and we squinting through this shit like we 7 years old trying to watch Playboy at my uncle's house in 1987. Mike knew. That's why he deliberately didn't put any underwear on over his jockstrap like most other normal people do. And turned around and gave us his whole entire ass a kiss before he walked out to the ring in a knee brace and proceed to do a choreographed, staged fight.
So let me just say this, man, because I don't have my tinfoil kufi on. I do not believe that it was staged. You know, my dad, probably the smartest person I
He
know.
said in the contract that neither one of the guys could knock each other out.
Yeah,
But staged.
So look, let me say this, man, because this is what I saw. My dad always said, you know, he says that when you're talking about a combat sport or a collision sport, he talks about football. He said you got to be a little crazy to play football, right? The way I say it is you got to turn off something in your brain in order to do a combat sport or a collision sport, right? You can't be thinking. Like the analogy I give is Derrick Henry is 6'4", 250, probably more like 260, 270 these days. Cause you know, the older you get, the more massive you are. And the dude is all muscle. No sane person is going to get in front of him when he has got a head of steam and try to stop him. You got to cut something off in the brain in order to be able to do that. You know, in order to say, get in front of him and stop him from going where he's trying to get. And what I saw with Mike, and again, I know that, you know, like there was stipulations, but even still, like people putting up clips of him hitting the pads, and them pads don't hit back, bro. This is a 30 plus younger year individual who is big and strong. If Mike presses the action, yes, he could hurt the guy, but the guy could hurt him.
True.
And what I saw was a 58-year-old man who knew nothing is next. What does he get out of pressing the action and knocking this dude out? Nothing. Because he ain't fighting nobody next. He ain't trying to be a 59-year-old world heavyweight champ. He trying to get his $20 million
And go home.
and be healthy tomorrow.
Yep.
And that thing in your brain that is supposed to be turned off when you're doing a combat sport or a collision sport, it turned on. And all of a sudden, all he was thinking about was protecting himself. And that's all right, bro. I ain't mad at you, because let me tell you something. For $20 million, I'm fighting anybody who need to get fought, dog. That's Mom Dukes. Yeah. That's Sis.
I think.
I'm saying, put them gloves on and let's go.
Bro, I think, to your point, I think that they both knew what was up.
Yeah, I think he wanted his bread. So with that being said, man, this was the inaugural episode of Everybody Has One. I'm your host, Jason Flake, with my co-host, Lance Reynolds, a.k.a. the People's Champ. And we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Hopefully we have entertained.
Yes.
As well as informed.
Y'all have a good Thanksgiving, too.
Yeah, man. And we will be back in 2 weeks to discuss all of the happenings in the local sports world as well as the national scene, man. Y'all, we going to put up pages, man, for y'all to follow and for y'all to like and for y'all to subscribe to, man. So don't forget to do such.
Yeah, we about to get on y'all goddamn nerves.
Yes, indeed.